Chairperson, on a particular date in, I think it was this year, early in January, I received a call from a police officer whose name I noted in my book. I was jogging in the morning, and I said, "Well, I'm on the road. I will give you a call when I get home," because the call I received very early in the morning, around between 7 and 7:30. When I got home, then I called the person. I returned the call, and he identified himself as an official from the unit that is headed by Advocate Johnson in the NPA. So it was an investigator and a prosecutor who wanted to let me think. What did they say they wanted to do? They wanted to serve a J175. A J175 is a subpoena to appear in court. And then I wondered, J175, what are the charges? And I was told the charges are 3 counts of fraud. And I asked, what are the basis of the fraud?
Keeping up with the Ngabinde inquiry, this is Advocate Sello Maema. What he just described is witness intimidation by IDEC. An investigator called Mackenzie from IDEC called him just before he came to testify to intimidate him, telling him that he's under investigation for fraud, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, asikho lapho. I think it's very important for us to understand the professional background of this man. Among many other things, he was the head of the PCLU, Priority Crime Litigation Unit. This unit sits right inside the NPA. This is the unit that will review a case and recommend racketeering certificates. So he says he has personally prosecuted 5 racketeering cases, and also his team, when he became the head, he has done 7 additional racketeering cases. He has 31 years of professional career inside the NPA. He's done various positions. He's even acted as a DPP for Northwest and South Gauteng. This is important in order to understand his testimony and what he is about. Why did he come here in the Ngabinde inquiry? First, the way I understand things is to create a timeline. Then I know what the sequence of things are. This is the timeline of Advocate Maema's experience from the time he started dealing with the Katomana cases up to the time that he retired. Because of this poison matter, Advocate Maema received a HR communication in May 2019 about the commencement of a disciplinary hearing, and he is instructed to return all of the Katomana matters to the then DPP Mokari and stop doing any court work. So from May 2019, Maema describes being effectively sidelined, coming to the office, reading newspapers, emails, unable to sign any indictments or do any work while the disciplinary hearing remained pending. An initiator is appointed. He identifies Advocate Harley, senior counsel, as the initiator. He says no chairperson had been appointed until December 2024. He pens a termination retirement letter as the situation took a turn and he decided to retire. So January 31st, 2025, he states that was the last day with NPA as he retired. So from May 2019 all the way to January 2025, this man was going to the office every day to do absolutely nothing. Let that sink in. Without being distracted, this is about Chauke's fitness to hold office. So we are going to shift towards that. What is Chauke accused of? This is the summary of the 4 things that Chauke is accused of. What brings Advocate Maema into this inquiry is number 2. Recommending racketeering charges improperly. Chauke is accused of recommending to acting NDPP Jiba that racketeering authorization be granted without sufficient evidentiary basis. This is critical because under POCA, racketeering is a high threshold structured charge that requires an identifiable enterprise, a pattern of racketeering activities, multiple predicate offenses. The allegations is that he triggered this mechanism improperly. Now, Advocate Maema is here to explain how and why he arrived at the racketeering certificate. Advocate Maema's evidence is that an individual can be an enterprise. A group of individuals associated in effect can be an enterprise. And even a formal structure with hierarchy can be an enterprise. The real question is whether the facts fit the statutory definitions, and he went into the statutory definitions, and he pulled a lot of acts that he read, which is kind of boring, so I'll skip over that. Whether there is sufficient evidence to prove that the enterprise, a pattern of racketeering activities, and more than one listed or scheduled offenses. So his framing was not that enterprise must always mean a big formal mafia-style organization. According to Maema, the enterprise is equals to the police unit itself. His framing is that the Katomana unit members acting together could constitute an enterprise, meaning not outsiders, not a separate criminal syndicate, but members of the SAPS. The enterprise is inside the state structure, guys. Oh my God. So the SAPS has been a crime scene for a very long time. This is Maema's logic. And remember, Maema is an expert, well qualified in racketeering cases. So this is his logic. To prove enterprise, you look for as one association. So the officers working together in the Katomana unit, acting in coordinated activities. Number two, a pattern, multiple incidences. There is a lot of killings that these Katomana units did. Similar conduct across all cases. So in the cases, he went in through all the 23 cases, identifying similar pattern where people were, the Katomana unit was going to the victim's home in the middle of the night and shooting them dead and making sure that everybody in the house doesn't see what happened. It was just the same pattern. And then number three, predicate offenses. I did learn about these predicate offenses from the P. Diddy case. Anyway, let me not get distracted. This is where I learned it myself. So the killings, the unlawful actions of covering up and manipulating crime scenes. So Advocate Maema makes a very bold position. He made a very aggressive prosecutorial point. Even one person can be an enterprise. Therefore, a group acting together easily qualifies. This lowers the structural threshold significantly. The reason why this became controversial, because in Maema's interpretation, it implies that a police unit inside the SAPS carrying out repeated unlawful acts can be framed as a racketeering enterprise. Now, regarding Maema's testimony, the sisters have to make two decisions. And this is where the pressure point is in this inquiry. It's not about evidence. It's about authority and decision power. Are the 23 dockets have enough evidence to prosecute? That is the first decision that this inquiry has to make. And then number two, did Maema make the right decision to issue a racketeering certificate based on the definitions and the explanations that I just made? That's it. So if you want to continue hearing the highlights of this inquiry, please follow me, because I am listening to all the hearings, and the stuff that is coming out of there is scary.